Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. And today we're chilling at my balcony. It's a very good day. Today is the 18th of June, I think. The weather is very nice, and today I want to share with you how I started reading the books in Dutch.
Books.
From books I learned, I think, 70% of the words that I know now. Because it was easier to remember for me, as I had illustrations in front of me sometimes, and I had the context, which made it easier to remember, and a story, of course. Everyone suggested me to start reading the children's books, so I did, and I started with a very approachable, with a very easy readable book, which is called Nijntje. It's not even a book, it's just little stories for babies, maybe even babies of starting from 1 year old read these books. Well, parents read for them. Nijntje is a very famous Dutch bunny. Well, originally comes from the Netherlands. She is also known as Miffy. She was drawn and written by a Dutch artist whose name is Dick Bruna. Bruna, by the way, is also a bookshop, a chain of bookshops throughout the Netherlands. So anyway, Nijntje is a very popular and very fun children's books. I really enjoyed reading it. For example, this one, Nijntje op de fiets. Here you go. You already know the most important Dutch word, fiets. So this is, I think, my first ever book that I read, Nijntje in the Dierentuin, which means Nijntje in the zoo. Yeah, as you see, someone already used it before. It wasn't me. It's really like, here is the father of Nijntje, and here is what he's saying. So you can see that I was translating the words to English. That was really fun. Here she's in the train. You can see that it's a train. And then here comes my favorite part, with all kinds of animals and birds. Part. That was really fun, very easy to read, and sometimes it's also rhymed. So I recommend also everyone to start with Nijntje. It will take you only maybe 10-15 minutes a day, which is perfect when you are just a beginner. And it also has some cultural background, so that you can talk to any Dutch person about Nijntje. Moving on, the next book I want to talk about is Geronimo Stilton. Geronimo Stilton has the best illustrations that I've ever seen in any children's books. I just fell in love with it. By the way, it's quite expensive, to be honest. That's why I all bought them at the second-hand markets at the King's Day, I think. This book is for children maybe from 7 years old or so. Well, it's quite more difficult than Nijntje, but it's really nice. I really love this book. Geronimo Stilton is a mouse that you can see here at the cover, and he always is in the center of all kinds of adventures. So the book is written by the mouse himself, by Geronimo Stilton. It's really fun. I really love it. I have only 2 of them, but they're very thick, and it takes quite a long time actually to read it, to finish it. And here is Geronimo Stilton, which has the best illustrations ever. If you can just look at this, starting from the front page. Here you can put your photo. I did not yet. Look at these pictures. I really like the colors and how it shows atmosphere, and how it's everything is really detailed. And the best advantage of this book, of the stories, which I really like, is how they write some of the words. For example, this one, look at this, Geheimen, which means secrets. And if you look at it, you can see that it's written as if it was every word was just cut from the, oh sorry, every letter was just cut from the paper. I think it's really cool. And it has a lot of these perks. Look at this. This is another game. The next, my most favorite part, I think, is comics. I really like Donald Duck because you know, I was also reading it when I was a child, but of course in Russian when I lived in Kazakhstan, and I already know the characters, so I don't have to familiarize with them, and I just have to follow the story. The language in these comics is of course a bit more difficult, and the only disadvantage is that sometimes they use old-fashioned words and phrases that are no more in use, because these comics are quite old, well, at least the ones that I have. Something easier is Garfield, because it's more fun also. It has very short stories. Well, how short? I think only 1 page per story or 2 pages, and it has more pictures, which is very, yeah, it's just for fun, you know, just when you have a spare minute and you want to do something useful, read Garfield. And this is the Donald Duck comics that I was telling about. Usually every comics has different stories from different characters. Like this one is about Donald Duck, this one is about Zwarte Magica, like, so she's the main character here. Then we have of course Mickey Mouse, and so on and so forth. Usually one story takes about 30 pages. You see the font is quite small, so you have quite a lot of new words, and the dialogues are quite long, the conversations. In comparison with Garfield, like I said, look at this. This is basically one story, like on one side. And you have basically more pictures, and from these pictures you can understand more, sometimes even without reading. That's why I prefer Garfield just for fun. And I think it's quite good drawn without any colors, but it looks very fun. And my most favorite magazine that I read in Dutch, well, it looks like a book, but it's a magazine, is called Flow. Flow is all about art, paper that I love, mindfulness, and just live in the moment, relaxing, meditation, you know, all kinds of slowing down stuff. It's all in Dutch. Of course, it's quite difficult. I have to say, I don't translate every single word. Sometimes as long as I understand the message or overall the idea, then I don't bother translating every single word, which is also not always necessary. But of course, if I, for example, see a fun recipe in this magazine of something, then I would need to translate every ingredient at every step. The thing that I love is that you're never bored, and all the editions are different. For example, this one is for paper lovers, and then sometimes they have special editions with huge notebooks, so that you can fill in something like 19 days of mindfulness or something like that, which is also very beautiful. And then they have separate vakantie book, which is of course about vacation, so that you can just grab it, and it's also a bit smaller and lighter, so that you can just grab it to your backpack when you go on vacation. Then we have Wonen, and this is about, of course, your house, and it's also another special edition. This is my most favorite flow edition. It's called Het Rotifer Book, which means the big slow down book, basically. Like I said, it's more, these articles are more about slowing down, taking your time, spending time at the nature, and yeah, just enjoying your life. Even the mouse is enjoying his life. Look at this animals family. I really like the articles. They are written sometimes by some famous writers, or they just ask random people to write about, for example, the camping on a bus. Or for example, this article is one of my favorites. That's about, where is the start? Wandel je hoofd leeg, which basically means like clear your mind by walking, or just walking. And here is just an article about how to walk, how to enjoy the nature, how to walk through the forest. As you see here, taking the sketches, just enjoying, taking the pictures, reading. It even had some good app suggestions to download from App Store to see the walking routes in the Netherlands, which is also quite cool. So it has all this kind of useful stuff. Here, for example, the artists show how to draw plants. It's also fun. Oh, this is the Insta famous hedgehog. Don't remember his name. And the other one of my favorite editions of Flow is this book for paper lovers, of course, because I am a huge fan of paper, of stickers, of all these kind of things. For example, as I see now here, look at this jar. Inside you have the whole forest with the little trees and plants, and on this page you can cut all of these details and just put it in your jar, and you will have this in front of you. Isn't it cool? And then there are a lot of cards, as you see. Some of them I used, paper that you can use. Very beautiful paper. Look at this Dutch style bicycle paper. That was it for today. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel and like this video so that YouTube can share it with more reading people. And comment below if you find anything useful or if you have something to share with me. Fijne dag en tot ziens.